All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. Obviously, we had some developments over the night in regard to rookie defensive tackle Mike Hall Jr., arrested this morning in an alleged domestic disturbance in Avon involving his girlfriend. The Browns have released this statement, Dr. Z.
Yes, we are aware of the incident involving Mike Hall Jr. last night. Mike and his representatives have been in touch with the appropriate authorities. We are in the process of gathering more information and will have no further comment at the time.
Yeah, and
not great.
No, and anytime you're in a position when you're talking about domestic disturbance, you want all of the facts to come out, and the facts will come out, and then you'll get some real truth on it. Needless to say, though, not something that you would want to be dealing with here on a Tuesday in the middle of camp. But that is the extent of it in terms of our dialogue, my friend. Is acknowledge that it's taken place and get you the statement, and that's where you stand with it on that front. Anything happens, we'll keep you updated and abreast of those situations. Yesterday's practice was the last practice before today's break, and then you're into Vikings Wednesday. Pretty fun practice by the time I took off around 3:00. I'm reading in my notes here that you went for a jog yesterday during. Did you do lope around the facility a little bit?
No, here it is. Got some video. This is after practice.
Oh gosh, look at you
getting our conditioning in. Me and Joe Hayden there, and so
really looks like you're working up a sweat.
I like that pace.
Let me tell you something right now, okay? So that's just, you're seeing one thing on repeat. So we did 270 yards.
Okay.
We went 50 and back, 45 and back, and then 40 and back. And that's what the quarterbacks and running backs all did after practice. Now, it looked like I was carrying a football.
Sure.
And to the knowing eye, that's all it would appear to be.
Sure.
A football, which, as we know, does not weigh very much.
Normally we have one in here. I don't even know where our
That
ball is.
Was a lead football.
That
weighed
football.
Approximately 50 pounds.
There's the football. We gotta have the ball in here.
No, that's just a ball.
No. So you were carrying it was a lead football.
Basically.
And are we to believe that is 50 the number?
I was told around 50.
What
like people went
football?
to pick it up at first. And
I bet they did.
And they didn't pick it up. It did not.
What was the?
So it's a football stuffed with
heavy stuff. What's it?
Weights.
What is it made for? What is the purpose of it? That is to carry it while running.
Yeah. And so, what
was the running back's name in the program? Darnell Jefferson. Remember, he had fumbling, and so he had to run around with the ball.
That's through school.
Take it to school.
Don't lose that ball.
Don't lose that ball.
Yeah. No. This is much more substantial than that. So you had to switch arms pretty much each time up and back. You're like, let me go ahead and pop this in the other arm there. But yeah, it was good. And professional athletes in their 20s were very tired by the end of it. Now I wanted to keep going, but then we had to do train camp insider. So it was really, they went from goal line to 50, it's like 50, 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20.
All the way
10,
down.
5 down. So
wow.
Joe and I had done basically half, I believe, when I did the final tally. I think it was like 550 yards. So we had done basically half of that. But I was ready to keep rolling.
It's a warrior run, baby.
Yeah, that's a lot of man. After a full day of practice, then you got to do that.
Yeah, I did not have the full day of practice.
No, but you're also not a man in your 20s and a professional athlete.
No.
Yeah, you're merely a large B.
And we took it. Yeah, and that was a graceful stride that I had on display there.
I don't have a problem with it. I thought it looked fine. I thought it looked more than fine. It's good to see Joe out there loping around as well.
You know what? I had a great week with him. He is there are certain people in the world that just always have positivity kind of exuding from their beings.
I sit next to one for 2 hours from 1 to 3 every day.
Same.
Just pure joy.
Same.
I'm not always pure joy. You're almost always pure joy.
Pretty much. I try.
Most part.
Joe Hayden is also pretty much a pure joy guy.
Yeah.
It's fun. So we had a blast together.
I would agree with that.
We had the jog, and it was funny. He was like, after he's like, yeah, no, we're good. He's like, we're good with them. I'm like, listen, I'm not going to fight you on it. I'm not going to fight you on it at all.
Yeah. It's the thing with those guys, and we you and I were before the show started. We were talking about the Hoff and his adventures in Bavaria.
What a time he's having,
and what a time. And we were talking about you think about these guys when they retire from playing football. I actually heard Chris Long talking about this with Jason Kelsey this morning, where like Jason Kelsey, when he initially retired, was like, yeah, I'm not going to work out. And his wife's like, oh, no, you are. You're going to work out at least 3 or 4 times a week because you need it, not only for your physical condition, but you need a why. And there's something that happens when you do that you need to release. And if you don't release it, you're going to keep it all in. I can't have it. So, like, he's like, so because of that, he's been working out 3 or 4 times a week. But you have to have that keep going because it's all you've known.
Yep.
Is that.
Yep.
Is physical, being at peak physical condition. And so all of a sudden you don't know what to do with it. And if sometimes you keep training the way you were and all of a sudden you adjust your diet like the Hoff did, you go from what the Hoff used to look like to what he looks like now.
And that's what Jason Kelsey's trying to do.
Yeah.
On their pod. I thought you see when they had the Terminator, they had Arnold was on their pod, and he was asking Arnold, he's like, look, I want to drop about 40 pounds, but I still want to be strong. And so they were talking about how to do it.
Pretty easy, I would think. If you
I
just
feel like
steal work the way that you've been working and just eat better.
Eat better.
Healthier.
Yeah.
And you're good.
And
you forget, like, a lot of those guys eat to put on weight. Like Hoff would talk about just gorging himself to keep on the weight. Like, we don't have to do that anymore.
I mean, those guys put down lasagna after lasagna after lasagna, and it's like for them eating a salad. But when you stop being a professional athlete, lasagna after lasagna takes its toll. And so you see former NFL players typically go, very few of them look the same.
Correct.
They go one of 2 directions. Now, Calvin Johnson at the house party looked exactly the same to my eyes.
He looked exactly the same. It looked like he could play tomorrow.
And dominate.
He looked the exact same. Looked like time had not touched him.
No.
He hasn't played in a long time.
Yeah.
But it looked like he could go right now. Yeah. Yeah. There's a little bit of that.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's look, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for getting that work in and getting the jog in and getting it in there with Joe. We will have the Vikings here on Wednesday. Viking head coach Kevin O'Connell announcing that J.J. McCarthy, the first-round pick out of Michigan, the quarterback, he had knee soreness. He did not participate in yesterday's practice, and he did have surgery on his knee for a meniscus injury, so he will not be here. He will not be participating.
So Schefter is now saying it's torn.
Torn meniscus?
Yeah.
So looks like it'll be Sam Darnold to start the season for them. I was looking forward to seeing him play. Because
I was too.
He was a very difficult evaluation coming out of the draft from the standpoint of there were games like the Penn State game where they just didn't have him throw the ball at all. And yet there were games like the last couple of Ohio State games, the way he played in the national championship game against Washington, and certainly the way he played against Alabama, where when they needed to make a throw, he made the throw. And so he was tough to evaluate from that standpoint, though, because it wasn't like they just said, like, here's the keys to the kingdom, let's spin it all over the place. But when he needed to make throws, he did. So, and it sounded like he was having a good start to camp. So it's certainly a bummer for them, and I was looking forward to seeing him.
I was too, and it's funny. This morning, a clip came across my timeline about the fact that he was getting interviewed. He'd thrown an interception in camp, and they asked him, what he thought about that interception. He gave such an awesome answer about how he saw it as an opportunity to get better. Yeah, and it did give it was kind of Brady-esque, even everything about him, the way he said it, the way he looked when he delivered the line. And I was like, all right, this kid's got a little something to him. I'm interested to see, what he can do and to get a look at him here. Yeah. And now we won't. And we're going to have to go on their quarterback depth chart, which I'll get my boards.
I got it up right now because I'm wondering if the Vikings won't take a quick little peek at our quarterback room this week.
That's a good point out of you, Gibby. Yeah.
Because their quarterbacks are Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, Nick Mullins. I would start Nick Mullins over Sam Darnold. That's how I feel about that.
No, they're fine. McCarthy's going to be back. This is like
and Jaron Hall.
Who they like too. They drafted him last year, I think.
Yeah, so it'll go Darnold, Mullins, Hall, and then they'll be fine. They'll be all right.
So we'll get it. It's going to be a lot of Nick Mullins in the at Cleveland Browns Stadium. Last time we saw him at Cleveland Browns Stadium was a Monday afternoon game.
4:15?
Yeah, something like that. In COVID years,
oh my God,
starting for us,
right.
He was our 4th-string quarterback. He came in, started the game, converted a 4th down for a touchdown, and had it not been for a couple of big-time throws by Derek Carr and a 50-yard bomb into the dog pound from Daniel Carlson, we would have won that game.
That COVID year, man, so that final score was 16-6.
That's 21.
No, it wasn't 16-6. They hit a game-winning field goal.
That's 2020. I need 21.
Yeah, 2021 is where we were back, but not all the way back.
So 2020's we're full in COVID because COVID was March of 2020.
Yep. Correct. 21. So
21.
we had an outbreak. Half the team had to go into quarantine like Friday afternoon. Bo, you and I were on the air. I don't think Nathan was here. I don't know where.
Where would I have been?
You might have been a close quarter. I just remember Bo and I were solo.
I was there for that game, 100%.
Yeah, no. But on that Friday,
we're
interviewing Kay Adams, who was
oh
coming
my God,
for
that's
the
right.
game.
She was coming for the game.
And then she's like, I'm going to Cincinnati now.
I don't know where you were.
He was not in here.
No, you weren't in studio. No, it was Gibby and I. No, I remember that well. She was going into the game. She's like, well, I think we're going to do this game. It was supposed to be on Saturday.
Correct. It was an NFL Network Saturday game.
And then she ended up just like hanging out in a hotel in Cleveland all weekend.
And then went to Cincinnati for Sunday.
And didn't do the game. No, that's right.
And I was gone on a Friday?
You were gone. You must have had a close contact or something.
Or maybe you were waiting to interview someone.
Not for a whole show. He had to have a close contact. That's the only thing that would make sense.
I mean, I was out for the Patriots game that year.
Boy, congratulations to you.
Oh, it was great with the best.
21 and 20 run together because 20 is full on COVID.
Yeah.
And then 21, we were still doing all of the protocols and there was all of that.
21, though, I was able.
Outbreaks.
In my mind, in 21, I was able to be on the sidelines.
You were in 21.
There was only one. In 20, though, I was in the stands.
Correct. When no one was at the games.
Yeah.
21 was, we can hang out next to the players Monday through Friday, but we have to travel. We have to fly separately through multiple airports to be with them on Sunday.
Man.
Not the team's decision, the NFL's decision.
Yeah. We're 7-6 going into that game against the Raiders.
Have I just completely blocked this year out of my memory? You're
yes.
saying that I
you know why? Because
commercial that year?
You, Jim, and Doug flew with a team. You couldn't leave the hotel.
Okay.
You
don't remember that? Yeah, that I remember.
We
but
could
I was
go
like,
do whatever we wanted.
I didn't fly with the team. I'm like, wait a second. I don't.
Yeah, we could go do whatever we wanted.
That's
was
right.
Great.
That's right. Yeah, and could not leave.
So it was Nick Mullins, 20 of 30. We were 7-6 going. Both teams were 7 and they were 6 and 7. We were 7-6 going into the game, and they beat us 16-14.
Yeah, on a late field goal.
Yeah, on the late field goal. It's amazing how much this. So the Raiders quarterback was Derek Carr. The running back was Josh Jacobs. The receivers were Deshaun Jackson, Hunter Renfrow, Zay Jones actually led him.
And Renfrow didn't have a great game, but he caught a touchdown, right?
He did not catch a
touchdown. Didn't catch it. He didn't have a great game.
We played the Raiders, it feels like, every year for the last.
Do you remember who locked him down?
Was that our guy?
MJ Stewart.
MJ Stewart, who had
played
some
in the
clutch
slot.
moments.
Yeah, played in the slot that game.
Had some big moments, went on to Houston.
Yeah.
I don't know where he is now.
Yeah. Porter Gustin, former 5-star Porter Gustin with the fumble recovery.
5-star
in that
Porter
game. The
Gustin.
5-star. He was still around, bouncing around.
MJ
Stewart
once.
had himself a game. You did, that's right.
from a food bank.
That's right. MJ Stewart had 11 tackles, 8 solo tackles in that game. Javonte Moffett was our second leading. Sheldon Day. My God. Javonte Moffett. Sione was fourth. Sheldon Day third in tackles. You have to go all the way down to JOK was fifth on the team in tackles that day. Jordan Elliott.
He got hurt in that game.
John Johnson, Malcolm Smith.
Did JOK have like a forced fumble in that game? Did he have a sack?
He had a half sack.
Half sack, yeah.
Him and Sheldon Day split a sack.
And then I think he got hurt.
Could be. Yeah.
By the way, more news out of Minnesota involving former Browns. The Vikings have signed former Browns linebacker Jordan Kunashik.
Hey, there you go.
All right.
Injured linebacker
that means we're going to get to see him this week.
That's right.
Love Kunashik. He should be in the league. Surprised we haven't brought him back, honestly, with some of the depths we've gone to at the linebacker position.
Yeah.
We're starting guys from Mars Hill.
We are starting guys from Mars Hill. Madden dropped today. Is that right? I see a lot of people playing Madden today.
I see a lot of it on my timeline.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are excited about the Madden. I don't know. It's going to take a lot to pull the kids off of the NCAA.
And it feels just like, it feels like over. I mean, agreed.
Yeah.
Madden's great, but I played Madden.
I don't know that it's been great.
No, it hasn't.
No.
The passing mechanism's been dreadful for a
No,
while.
I think it's been really suck.
When am
for
I
a long
gonna
time.
When am I gonna get you cooking on offense, dude?
I haven't
When do
played.
we need a
I played
tutorial?
last Thursday, and threw like 4 picks.
Against who?
The computer.
Computer.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
play you smoke the boys?
Yeah. If we play on a real level, if we play on one of their stupid levels, then they can hang.
What level where everything works?
Yeah. Then it's like the rookie or whatever.
No,
Then
you got to
they-
play on the
if
one,
they
one
play
below
on that,
Heisman.
They play on that level, then they get away with everything, and they just run go routes, and they'll do stupid. Like Madden had this thing where, like, if you did a fake, you could be in a base defense. Okay, defense isn't a base defense, and they were on 4th down. They was run fake field goal, and I would say, idiots, if you're going to go for it on 4th down, just
Run a
call
play.
a play. Like, don't do this stupid thing. But then the stupid thing works every time against a regular defense. This
That makes
happens
no
all
sense.
the. Oh, it's awful. Of course, it makes no sense. So I stopped playing Madden. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This game's stupid.
I'm out.
So I'm out. Not doing it. Yeah. So I need some zone beaters. Is what I need. On the man beaters, I got a ton of stuff, but I need
There's a
some
billion
zone beaters
beaters.
that take care of business. I end up throwing a lot of picks in the zone.
Do you run any of the RPOs?
I get nervous about those because of the. I feel like I'm going to hit the wrong button, and
Those
not
are the
gonna,
best zone beaters. You just read the slot corner. If he comes in on the run fake, you throw it to the guy. He's got a lead blocker, and you pick up at a minimum 7-8 yards. And
Yeah.
if he breaks one tackle, you can pick up a big chunk.
Yeah.
You can live in those.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to run those. I'm always
very
every
easy.
time I see those, I stay away from them. I just
Well,
stay out of it. All
I'm
right, so I'll
welcome
work.
to have you over for a tutorial.
Little tutorial, and I can work through some things. We had a big day yesterday for the kids. We had the 7th graders got number pick.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the first time that these kids have not been coached by parents.
By
right?
you.
By me, yeah, NBC by me. This is the first time I haven't coached him, and now I haven't coached him in lacrosse, but hoops and football I've always coached. And so they had uniform time, and we're gonna pick out uniform numbers, and it's so interesting. What is considered like cool now is probably what you guys would think, but like
Okay.
knowing what we know about our guys, like if you were to if like a 12-year-old, you can pick any number you want. What do you think the parameters would be? What do you think the answer to that question would be? You can pick any number you want.
15 Mahomes, 18 Justin Jefferson. I bet you're living all in the single digits to 19.
I was definitely thinking single digits,
Yeah.
but maybe I go into the 20s.
So what you just said is exactly what all of them said. Anything 1 to 19. They don't even care. Doesn't matter. They can make any of them work. Anything 1 to 19 works. They'll take any one of them. Now, there are some 20s. I mean, really, I said, like, let's be honest. Like,
There's gonna
everything,
have to be.
I think everything to, like, 36. I mean, 42 is really cool.
21 and
24 can work.
23 are really good.
21 especially.
Yeah.
I think 24 is strong. Like 27 looks cool. 20. I liked when JLK wore 28. I thought
34.
34 is beastly. 32, 33.
33.
Yeah, there's some good ones out there. I even think I like sevens. Like I think even 47 is kind of cool for
Charlie
a linebacker. I think that's a good one.
Wasn't 37 Lester Hayes?
37 is a very good one. There's another one that's good. Yeah, you can work with a lot of it. I think the only numbers that are really tough are he was 46 a couple of years ago, and that was a disaster. It's like Todd Christensen and Tim McDonald. That's it. 46 is hard. 46 and 48. 48's tough.
Wasn't Sean Alexander also a 37, I want to say?
He was 37, yeah.
I feel like 50s could be okay, but 60s are awful.
51
60s
is
probably the worst.
I agree. 50s is great if you're a linebacker, defensive lineman.
Sure.
Really, any of the 50s I think work pretty good. 55 is awesome. 51,
I do like a
56,
55.
like those are all pretty cool. The 60s, you're obviously all in the offensive line play. 70s, offensive line play.
Yeah, but 70s, then there's at least a couple.
77's gonna look cool. I mean, you can play
73,
linebacker,
little
rock
Huff.
rock a 73, a 77. All of those work. It's funny though, like the kids have abandoned the 80s entirely.
Oh, man.
They're done with
a
them.
good receiver.
That's
And
terrible.
80, 81, 88, 84,
82.
all those are slick. But none of the people, no one wears 80s anymore. It's over. And even receivers, like remember CeeDee Lamb kind of pouted when he had to wear 88. He didn't want to wear 88, and Jerry's like, no.
88's
Mike
great.
wore it. Dez wore it.
Yeah.
You're wearing it. Drew Pearson wore it. You're wearing 88. But he didn't want to wear it. And I think 88's money.
88's great on every level.
Well timed at you. So the way they did it was they went merit, the combination of merit, talent, and then work ethic was the way they decided who got to pick
When?
yeah. So they went through it, and he got 10, which was his first pick, was to wear 10, which is the number I wore. I've never asked him to do it, ever. He just has chosen to.
That's what he wanted to do.
Yeah, so
It's cool. It's a nice homage.
He always tries to wear 10, and then they always wear 32 in hoops, which is cool because that was the number I wore.
Yeah.
So that was, but I don't ask him to, but they did it.
What
but it was
number
just
did he
interesting.
pick? I mean, what?
He picked 10.
No,
So
I mean, was
picked-
he like?
he was near the top.
Okay.
Yeah, he got to pick pretty early.
What
in
was
that
the
sense.
first pick?
I think him or another. There was like 3 or 4 of them that picked right away. It was like 1.
Well, I like
One-
that. I like more
1,
importantly
10,
that he's near the top.
1, 2, 10, 6, like
Not
those.
an 18. I figured 18 would be popular.
18. There was an 18 went pretty high. There was a 13. Yeah, it was all pretty. It was all the ones that you'd think.
So Mahomes is and 10. What? Tyreek is probably the best 10 in the league right now. Am I missing a quarterback?
Probably.
But I'm guessing Tyreek.
The best 10 in the league. That's an interesting exercise. Like, who's the best of each number? Tyreek would be the best 10.
Yeah,
There's got to be a quarterback wearing 10 that I'm missing.
that's as good as Tyreek.
No, there isn't.
He said Herbert.
Herbert's 10.
Brock said 10.
Yeah, Herbert's 10.
Oh, and I love Herbert.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Lots to like.
I'd still
Oh,
take
I
it.
know you do.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a good one.
That is
Yeah.
a good one.
Yeah. What? So which got me thinking about my high school number was 10, and part of the reason for that was it was the lowest number we had. We didn't have single digits.
Right.
They started at 10. You couldn't be 7. You couldn't be 6.
We
You
didn't
could
get a
start at 10.
3 until my junior year of high school.
Well, in hoops,
For
no.
hoops.
In hoops, it started at 10 too. But in
Yeah.
football, we started at 10.
That's wild.
You couldn't. There were no single digits. 10 was the lowest number. In hoops, it started double digits too. There was no single digits. Did you have singles?
No.
No way.
No.
Junior year, I got
This
3.
article,
Juiced.
I look it up. The top 10 athletes, the 10 best athletes who wore number 10. Pele, number 1.
Messi.
Pretty good.
Lionel.
If you
Walt
do,
Frazier, number 2. Chipper Jones, number 3.
that's a good one. Yeah.
Tyreek Hill, number 4.
There we go.
Eli Manning, number 5.
Elijah.
I forgot he wore 10.
Yeah, sure.
Smirch that number. Guy LaFleur.
Oh, yeah.
Number 6 on the list. DeAndre Hopkins, number 7.
The best part of that is that you also added an unrecognizable accent to
Lafleur.
Guy Lafleur.
Guy,
But
well,
it's Guy.
Guy Lafleur.
Guy
And you
Lafleur.
went Guy Lafleur.
You got it.
But you got the accent. It was great.
Yeah, you
Got
got the
it.
last part right.
Steve Nash is number 8.
Good
DeMar
guy.
DeRozan is number 9.
Wow. That's a pretty big gap
Earl the
between
Pearl
8 and 9.
Monroe
No
is number
offense to
10.
DeMar.
Yeah.
On the outside looking in, Fran Tarkenton, Andre Dawson,
The Hawk.
Deshaun Jackson,
Sean Jackson.
That's a cool one.
Nate
Yeah.
Archibald.
Tiny Nate.
Tiny Nate.
Tiny Nate. Yeah. I think, we had there's some people who will say, like, there's an organization in our town who's like, it doesn't matter what number you get the number we give you. And so, like, last year, the quarterback wore like 84. Like, that's just nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
Silly.
doing?
That's
Like, at
silly.
least do
I love it. Chaos. I'm up
just so
for it.
stupid, just 84.
Good luck
running
putting
around.
those boards together. Wait, what?
Who is that? Why do they do that? I just think it's really simple to, like, just do it by positionally. It's not hard to do it that way.
Yeah.
And then everybody looks the way that they're supposed to look. You don't
Yeah.
need quarterbacks running around.
How's the squad looking?
I don't know. Find out Thursday. We've got a big scrum against Talmadge, so we'll get a look at him.
How's he feeling like
Thursday.
it's looking?
Well, he's been under the weather. I mean, he was sick, 101 fever Sunday into Monday. They had picture day today. He was pretty lightheaded, so I don't know. We'll see. He's going to try to practice today, but we'll see how it goes. But feeling good. So this is the first year it's one team. Like, up until this point, we've split teams. So we'll see. Usually the program is pretty solid. I refer to it as like kind of like Stanford under Harbaugh, like always really really good, but there's a real hard ceiling.
Yeah.
You're not beating Hoban. You're not beating Massillon. So like you're gonna hit
We're not
you get
going
all the way
down
to
there.
that regional final, but then it's tough sledding from there on out on that side of things.
That was them back 10, 12 years ago. They had a linebacker that went to the NFL.
Yeah, for the played at Michigan, went to Vikings.
And I mean they were
Why am I blanking on him?
regional final every year.
Yeah.
And it was like not going any further.
No, which is awesome. I mean,
they were frustrated, but I'm like, still, you're one. That means you're one of the top 8 teams in the state at your division.
Yes, and that's a good spot.
And it's a big division.
It is. Yeah, it is. So they did. Why am I blanking on that kid who played at Michigan, the linebacker?
I am too. It was during the Trubisky, so Trubisky was playing.
Yeah.
Kareem was playing.
Right.
He was at Hudson.
Yeah.
Denzel was playing.
That's a bad job out of me. I'm going to get my keys to the city taken.
I'll come up with it.
I'm going to come up with it without looking. I'm going to get it. All right.
I believe in you.
I know you do, and I appreciate that. All right. Lots to get to on the program today. We'll take a look around the league. We have some disgruntled defensive linemen. Yeah, the Madden did drop. The early release Madden did drop. So we should have it on the console because I did the early release. What's that?
The bundle.
Yeah, the bundle. We did the bundle, so we'll see.
Do you want
the kids
it or do
haven't
you not
said
want
anything.
it?
No, I want it on. I'm going to get it on my own.
All right.
I'm going to get it on my own. All right, we're off and running. Those are your hot topics of the day, presented by University Hospital, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Boost your game day this season with Ballybet Sportsbook. Place your first bet of $50 or more, and you get $150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. I did get it organically in the break. Ben Gideon.
You did.
Yeah, I got it. It's a bad job out of me not having that at the ready.
Well, you got a Chad Greenway to really stoke the mind.
There's no question.
Then there's a G.
They got the synapses firing. Yeah. There's no question. I got to make sure this isn't somewhere else. What do you make? No, it's not. What do you make of the Bengals wearing orange pants?
Seems like it makes a lot of sense.
That's what I said.
A Bengal tiger is orange.
Yeah, that's right. And I think they look great. I think it looks great with their uniform. I saw people upset, thinking that they were on our corner. And I'm like, well, hold on just a second. And first of all, I know that this isn't going to be.
They play in Paul Brown Stadium.
Right. We're named after the guy who founded them.
Right. So there might be some similarities.
Yeah.
Orange.
Yeah. I prefer brown over white and white over white. Those are my favorite uniform. White over white's my favorite one we have, and then brown over white's number 2.
I actually, and this is, I know, unpopular, if we are to wear orange pants, I prefer it with white top over the orange.
I do
it
too.
Makes me think we look a little bit like we're Illinois.
Yeah.
But that's a fine look. I'm with you. I like white over white, and I like brown over white, and I like, obviously, when we had a color rush, brown over brown, I liked that.
Yeah.
And then the throwbacks, which is white is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The cardiac kids I'm fine with, maybe once a year in a division game, because it's you're hearkening back to a different era, especially now that we got the white face mask. And that's fine. Every old uniform doesn't have to be your favorite combo, and it still does look okay.
It looks good.
But
it's fine. Yeah.
I'm with you. I think their orange pants I think it looks good. I love their all whites with the white helmet. I think their color rushes are awesome. I like what the Bengals have done. I think they have good uniforms. They should.
Yeah, it's a tiger.
It's a tiger, and it's a pretty solid color scheme to work with.
It's not. This isn't hard.
I actually did the Indie Wrestling Guide podcast last night.
Oh, it's a hell of a drop for them.
Yeah, well,
here on the program. That's a good job out of you.
I did.
Then they pulled you.
And
how'd you work the timeout?
I made the time. We got done last night.
Big G generous.
It was cool. These guys have reviewed the shows that I've been on, and they didn't know me before, and so to get to
hear
what they thought was cool, but they did ask, well, why was your gear black and blue? And I was like, well, we mocked it up in the other colors, and they're just I'm only doing this once. It's just not as good. No offense to the colors. They're just
no. It's funny when you have the conversation. Obviously, it's a revered brand now, and historically one of the most important brands in all of sports. But when you think about when Ohioans decided to start naming teams, what the hell were we thinking?
I mean,
across the board, it's crazy. I mean, you think even Ohio State Buckeyes, it's a nut.
It's a nut.
It's a nut, man. It works,
but somehow they pulled out of that
all the greatness scarlet and gray,
yeah,
and so it all works.
This isn't a Buckeye actually the nut that's dark brown with a little light brown?
Yeah, they actually would make sense if they had brown.
If they had brown and tan in their colors.
That'd be the way.
That'd be brutal.
It'd be tough go of it.
It's like that. By the way, have you seen those absurd helmets somebody's wearing that look like leather helmets?
Illinois is wearing those.
They look absurd.
The red Grange look.
It's terrible.
Yeah, it's a tough sell.
Awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, I only wear this color brown wearing our gear. In my own life, I wouldn't be like, hey, I'm going out tonight. Let's put on the brown.
Yeah. Let me find a chocolate.
Yeah.
So, no, it's awesome. It's instantly recognizable, but at the same time, and there's a lot of it. You think about the Columbus Crew. I mean, that's a crazy thing to name a team and to make them black and yellow. It's all worked. They won championships and all of it. Now you love it. The Columbus Blue Jackets are named after because we did the uniforms for the Union Army. It's a Civil War tie-in, and their original mascot was a bee, so it confused people.
Well, yeah, it was a blue jacket.
Right.
Which is like a yellow jacket.
That's what I thought.
But blue.
Blue. Ohio's got this crazy buzz that's going around. It
would be cool if there was actually a blue jacket.
Yeah, there was native only to here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cincinnati Redlegs, and then became the Reds.
Yeah.
So we got a lot going on here on our front. And Paul Brown, I mean, he was at Massillon High School. They're the Tigers. So let's take those colors. But his first uniform basically looked exactly like ours, except it was a flat orange helmet that had Bengals written on it.
Yeah.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, it's
baby.
wild. Absolutely wild. All right, we have a list, an image in front of us of the alternate and throwback helmets that are going to be worn by NFL teams this season. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see we have pulled it up on the screen. All right, I think we have to do one thing right away. You have to throw out, like if we're going to grade these, you have to throw out Denver because that's a retro helmet. That's what they should be wearing all the time.
So is that black Jags, right?
But isn't that the Jaguars helmet?
It's on here as an alternate, so my guess is no.
How's this? Hey, how is this different than what Jacksonville wears all the time?
I think the Jaguar is different.
Is it a different Jaguar head?
It looks a little bit different to me than the one right above it.
So Brock says the one on the lower left
Yeah.
Okay.
is one they wore in the early 2000s.
Yeah, it looks like Brunel.
Is the Jaguar head different?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's more of a rounded. It's a subtle
And he's-
difference, though.
And he's kind of more like, eh.
Okay. Which is the better Jaguar head? New guy, old guy?
I like the old guy, and I like
was
them when they
gonna
had the
say.
leaping, the jag on the
Yeah.
shoulder.
Kind of the
pouncing,
prowling Jag?
Yeah. Same one.
So I like a white helmet in general. I think they look pretty damn clean. So I like the Jaguar white. So you have them in white,
They're
and then
called
they're going to wear
Prowler.
the Brunels.
The Prowler throwbacks.
Yeah.
So that will be that helmet, teal top over white pants. It appears.
So the Brunel, Baselli, Fred Taylor
Yep.
era.
Right.
A lot of success in that era.
Celebrating 30 seasons of Jackson. Wow, 30 seasons.
Probably should have
of
just kept
Jacksonville
those
Jags.
unis. Would have been though. I'll give Carolina credit. They basically just stuck with their original look. Not much difference.
Yeah, so it is a different. It is, and it does
Slightly
have the
bigger head.
prowling jag on the shoulder, and it's a different jag on the mouth is different on him, and
Yeah, I
really his
see
whole
it.
facial structure is
He's more rounded in the new one.
Yeah, I kind of like the old one better, to be honest.
Yeah.
I definitely do, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, just in 99% of the time, wear what you used to wear and it wins.
And that prowling jag is awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. It's very cool. The original one, as we know, is the leaping one, and the Jaguar, the car company, said, actually, you can't use
Yeah,
that.
sorry, we've got that.
I think we own that. The Broncos are going to wear a icy white version of their current one, and then they're going to wear the Elway throwback.
So the icy white should have had the Elway D.
Yeah, that would have been clean.
That would have been so good. I really think the Ravens one stinks.
So you know how I feel about black for black's sake on the uniform front?
Yeah.
Like I think it's a cheat code to do it. But a Raven is black.
Raven is
And a
black.
Panther is black. Like lean.
Yes.
Fully in.
Well, the purple and gold and it's not a bad color combination. I mean, there are many franchises that do that. Their gold though is different than. It's not like a Lakers
No.
yellow.
I think it's almost like a what the hell's the name of that color?
It's like
you
a
get
flat
it in the
metallic.
Crayola. You get it in the Crayola box
Yeah.
in the yellows, and I want to say in those it was either called maize or mustard.
Puke. Baby puke.
I mean, it's not that far. It's a very strange color.
It is. Yeah. And they tried wearing those pants the one time. They wore them once, and
Yeah,
then that
they're
was it.
terrible.
They were gone. It was bad.
By the way, speaking of the Ravens, they just signed John Kelly. John Kelly's gone.
There you go.
Yeah, he was gone yesterday.
Kelly. No more singing. By the end of the year, he'll be back on the practice squad.
there
That's my
goes
hot
Kelly.
take.
All right. You also have Detroit's, so they're going to wear that blue one with the black lion.
Into it.
I'm for it. I think it's fine. I told you guys when I was down in Canton this summer, and the first time I'd seen the new Lions jersey in the wild,
Popped.
holy smokes, man.
Yep.
It is gorgeous. Just crushed it. Packers are going to wear a white lid for the first time with the G on it. You and I have a similar beef with that.
Yellow stripe down the middle is what it needs to match the striping
It
everywhere
does.
else on the uniform, and it helps the helmet out, actually, I think.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Yep.
All right. No, it's not bronze. I actually pulled up the Crayola 64
The Vikings one is great. It might be.
to find this damn shade that tries me. I always hated it as a kid. It's not goldenrod.
You'll find it.
I'll find it. Vikings all white.
Great.
Looks great. The Giants went with kind of an amalgamation. This is the Princeton winged helmet, which then became the Michigan winged helmet.
Yep.
It's blue with. I actually think the helmet's fine. I think it's if they wore it in their history, it's cool. But I don't know why the rest of it is a mess. It's like they melded 6 different eras together.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Yeah. Houston, I just feel bad for. I just feel bad for them. What they wanted to do, they weren't allowed to do.
I'll tell you what, though. So I saw some interview with Andre Johnson, and he was wearing a hoodie that was kind of that dark blue with that light blue H, and it actually looked pretty good.
Of course, it's navy blue and baby blue. Those two things look very, very good together. It's just a shame that they couldn't do what they wanted to do, which is do a baby blue jersey, and that part stinks. I think the red helmet is awesome for them.
Yep.
With the horns, I think that's a really cool helmet. So they have a red one, and then they have the navy blue one with the light blue H. And I do think their uniforms look better. They don't look quite as generic because the blue is actually darker than the Bears. It's almost like black. It's the darkest blue I've ever seen.
Which I like.
Which I think is cool. It kind of separates it a little bit. It's not quite as generic as they certainly seemed initially. The Jets have one that they don't need, the black one. They don't need that at all. It's gonna black is a cheat code. And then they are bringing back the Namath helmet.
Yeah.
So that's very cool because I think that's my favorite helmet they have is the Namath helmet.
Yeah, and I like those uniforms with kind of like the body and the white sleeves on the green jersey, the green body on the jersey. Yeah, there's some good ones in here. I think Denver's true throwback, the Jags true throwback, the Lions, and the Vikings are my 4 favorites.
Isn't it funny how important teal was in the 90s?
Oh, man, teal's big.
It's huge. Everybody.
Charlotte Hornets, San Jose Sharks. When you're talking about just
Pistons changed to teal.
There was a weak teal. Teal and black.
Still had it, though.
Teal and black was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, San Jose's and the Charlotte started it, and then everybody said, oh, let's pop in on that.
The San Jose Sharks logo, their colors, all of it was pretty elite. That was pretty well done.
Yeah, they crushed it. All right, coming up next, we'll go around the sports world. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. Sports betting partner, Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Does your furry friend have what it takes to beat out the competition? Enter the Dog Dash Sweepstakes presented by Milkbone for a chance to your pup to compete in the annual halftime dog races. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/milkbone to enter and check out more from Milkbone at your local grocer or pet supply stores. We have a little bit of breaking news in the NFL, not the type that we like to share, but Ian Rappaport reporting that the framework of a deal is in place for the Pittsburgh Steelers to acquire Brandon Ayuk, in a deal that is in the mix, and now it's just a matter of will San Francisco sign off. Apparently, Ayuk has approved of the deal that Pittsburgh would offer him, and now it's just a matter of San Francisco approving the deal. The Niners have an offer out to Ayuk on a long-term deal for him to stay, but he has not accepted, so it's in his court. He will either be a Pittsburgh Steeler, probably for more money, or a San Francisco 49er for less. How did they get back in on this?
They obviously have upped whatever they were willing to offer.
Because that was a sticking point before.
That was a sticking point that they weren't offering enough. It is. Ayuk to Steelers. Hey, come on.
Come on.
Nobody wants that.
Come on.
I don't want that.
Hey.
Come on.
Come on.
That would be brutal. I saw a thing earlier today. Fox put out, and if this is in the rundown, you can yell at me, but I don't think it is, because I think it would have had a graphic. Fox put out their top 10 teams of the year going into the season, like their
roster.
Yeah, or just the top 10 teams, like their power rankings.
Yeah.
Kansas City is number 1.
Yep.
Niners 2, Lions 3, Eagles 4, Texans 5.
Wow.
Green Bay 6. Bengals 7, Ravens 8, Bills 9, Browns 10. So the Lions and the Packers are that's the only division with 2 teams.
Yep.
And then, of course, you get the joyous AFC North with 3 of the top 10, and I'd have to imagine Pittsburgh is not that far behind.
Pittsburgh's got to be 11 or 12.
Right.
Yeah. And if they get Ayuk.
Like Kansas City, no one else. Niners, no one else in their division. Eagles, no one in their division. Texans, no one in their division. Bills, no one in their division.
What's stunning is what happened with the NFC and AFC West over the last 3 seasons. You could argue that those were the 2 toughest divisions in both conferences for much of the better part of the last 4 or 5 years. And I think Mahomes broke the AFC West and forced everybody to kind of reset. And I think the same thing happened in the NFC with the 49ers. Some of it was cap stuff with the Rams, but the Rams went all in. They won the Super Bowl and then had to start over. Seattle's kind of they're kind of in a not sure what they are. Their roster's really nice, but it's like Geno was not the same in year 2 as he was in year 1. And Arizona's starting over is what they've done with Kyler,
Yep.
but they're starting over. So no, it is. It's all of the power is in the AFC North, and Pittsburgh pulling this off would only enhance that. Lots of contractual stuff around the league. We talked about Hassan Reddick yesterday requesting that trade. The Jets releasing a statement. We've informed Hassan that we will not trade him, that he is expected to be here with his teammates, and that will continue to be fined per the CBA if he does not report. This is on the Jets.
Yep.
It's on them. It's in the brochure. It was known when you acquired him.
But I guess they just felt like they were going to be able to get that new deal done.
Strong-arm him into a new deal?
I don't even know if it's strong-arming. It just kind of feels like it makes sense. We all want this to work. We just traded for you. Let's figure it out. Now, the Jets, from their standpoint, they were very good anyway. It's not like they need him.
No.
It would be a wonderful addition, but it does seem pretty wild that they have reached this impasse that they currently reside at.
It does. Former Steelers wide receiver Martavius Bryant is signing with the Commanders. 145 for 2183, 17 touchdowns. Has not played in the NFL since the Raiders in 18. Had all sorts of off-field stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 6 years without playing. But he flashed, before he ran into trouble. He flashed. He certainly had some talent. The Dolphins currently list 2 running backs, Raheem Mostert and Devon Achane, as starters there. Mike McDaniel says, who says we have to stop at 2? Maybe we can just have 4.
Right. And they are loaded. They've got a ton.
Yeah, they are. tough spot there. The NFL rolled out a new credentialing system for sensitive areas in NFL Stadium. They will use facial authentication software for high-security zones such as field, press box, and locker rooms. Vegas police plan on boycotting the new credentialing system at Allegiant Stadium. The Las Vegas Police Protective Association says they're going to take your biometric data, your face, they're going to use it however they need to, and they're going to extend that to their NFL family partners to use your information should they need to. Good grief.
Can't wait to go there later on this year.
Yeah.
Because everybody else in the league, this is something that, like, we were out on the forefront of.
Is that what it is for us?
Yeah. MLB does it. Like,
yeah,
I'm not quite sure. Hey, Vegas, get your stuff together.
Yeah. Tyreek Hill was asked on the Up and Adams show if he'd race Noah Lyles, and he said he would beat Noah Lyles in a race. I do not believe that he would.
It's
not in 100 meters.
No, maybe in a 40.
Maybe in a 40.
He feels like he could.
Because Lyles starts slow anyway.
Yeah.
His best race is the 200, but he starts a little slow, so maybe you could get him in a 40. I still think the difference between elite world champion 100-meter 9.7 guy and NFL player is still.
We have some guys on our team who in college ran, 10-1s, 10-2s.
Right.
Which is
smoking.
Yeah. 0.4 of a second, while it doesn't sound like
over
much, is a big deal.
It's a big deal. And this from the Titans, quarterback Will Levis puts mayo in his coffee. He's partnered with Hellman's Mayonnaise to introduce a new fragrance called Parfum de Mayonnaise. It's $8 a bottle.
Come on.
It's a fragrance.
Did you see it this morning?
No.
I saw the ads. It's incredible.
It can't be real, right? Like
it's
people
very
really
real.
want to smell like mayonnaise.
Do
you like an aioli? Not even an aioli? Like a garlic aioli?
Oh, we're going to just call it an aioli, and then now it's not mayonnaise anymore. Now it's this elevated sauce.
I was hoping it's going to be dry heaving by this point in this segment.
Aioli.
Where would
Get out of here.
Would the ultimate negative breakfast for you be hard-boiled eggs with mayo? Is that the opposite of apex?
I think I would.
If I had a hard-boiled egg like crumbled up and then we put mayo on it, that would be, which is basically egg salad. Yeah. So egg salad is your nemesis.
Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
No on an egg salad sandwich.
Just disgusting. Really, really gross.
It's funny,
and it stinks. Look, people eat it and they are chewing, and you can see it. It's disgusting going down. It's disgusting
you need to
before
add a little
it goes.
Celery. Give it a little crunch. Break up the texture a little.
Throw a little, maybe some celery salt in there.
Yeah.
Get some onions.
It's disgusting.
A little mustard. No,
it's so gross.
I love an egg salad.
Same.
People eat it and they're like,
why do you think they just eat it that way?
It's just
everybody
disgusting.
eats an egg salad, sticks their tongue out while they eat.
They're like chomping on it. It's like vomit in there, and then they go like this because I think that it must leave like a disgusting film on your tongue.
I don't know why it is in my head, but when I pick, because this stems from your youth, right? Like they were making you eat eggs, like hard-boiled eggs. Yeah.
But I mean, they're also just gross. They stink.
So when my head, when I picture it, I just picture your current head as a man in your 40s on a little Nate body. And I picture you in like a Montessori situation where nuns are forcing you to eat hard-boiled eggs.
Yeah, and I
Pedro
throw up, and
is
finally,
laughing,
like after weeks of throwing up every day, they finally were like, "All right, you don't have to eat them anymore."
I can only ground him so much. Start feeding him eggs.
Feeding him hard-boiled eggs
Really
every
terrible,
morning.
man.
Give him eggs.
Suck him down.
Really terrible.
Good Lord.
By the way, this is from Sports Illustrated. It's thought that Tyreek Hill's best time in the 100 was 9.98 with a wind behind him. Without the wind, his best time was 10.19. Lyles triumphed with a time of 9.79 to win the gold.
That doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a lot.
Here's the other thing, though. If that's what Tyreek Hill is not training to run the 100.
But he probably was at one point.
At some point, yeah. But maybe he's faster now. Who's to say?
Wouldn't think. Aren't you usually peak speed like early to mid-20s?
It would seem that way.
Yeah.
How old is Carl Lewis?
When I was going through the Olympic 100-meter champions, when I was going off that riff about the coolest thing being the world's fastest man, that's the best title you can bestow on someone.
Yeah.
I came to he won it in '84, and then officially he won in '88. But remember, Ben Johnson beat him, and then got pinched.
By the way, did you see
after?
Did you see that? I don't know if when you were watching the women's, I think it was the women's floor, and we got gold and bronze.
Yeah.
And
Jordan Childs.
Jordan Childs, and the Romanian girl thought she had it, and then they deducted something from her, and all of a sudden she was out. Mm-hmm. She's back, baby.
Do you know the details of that?
That they submitted the video too late?
The Romanians claimed that we submitted the scoring error, the beef with the scoring error, 4 seconds after the 1 minute deadline to do it.
Right.
We apparently submitted video saying that we submitted it 13 seconds before the 1 minute threshold. Furthermore, who's keeping the 1 minute timer? Is it on a clock?
Well, by the way, they're
Where's
rejecting it, so apparently not.
And by the way, the original Romanian said she can keep the medal. They just wanted a medal for their person too.
Yeah, and they're trying to make.
And now they're trying to make Childs give it back. I say, come get it.
Come get it.
Come get it. What a waste.
What a waste.
What an absurd waste of time
Yeah.
and money. Oh, we're going to go to a Swiss tribunal. So fly a bunch of idiots over to Geneva.
And I didn't even
sit
see if
down.
that girl's foot ever even touched out. When I watched the video, it didn't look like it ever touched out anyway.
Nonsense.
Let's give them both
Utter
bronzes.
He's going to give her a bronze clock, though.
What?
Giles gives back the bronze medal. He's going to give her a
A
bronze
bronze clock? There you,
Yeah.
there you go. Well, I wouldn't give it back. I'd say, come get it. Same thing I told Reggie Bush. They come for your Heisman. Come get it. You come get it. I'm not giving anything back. All right. Second hour of the program coming up next. We'll take a look at your Cleveland Browns at the halfway point of training camp. A couple of preseason games left. Some details on that to look forward to, which is nice. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Medical mistake caused your injury. Call the medical malpractice attorneys. 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk & Oaks, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. We did have the news off the top of the show, and just to reset that for you, if you are just now joining us, we certainly aware that Browns rookie second-round pick out of Ohio State, Michael Jr., arrested this morning on alleged domestic disturbance in Avon involving his girlfriend. A Browns spokesperson said in a statement, quote, "We are aware of the incident involving Michael Jr. last night. Mike and his representatives have been in touch with the appropriate authorities. We're in the process of gathering more information. We'll have no further comment at this time." The team is off today, and then we'll be back tomorrow.
For the joint practices tomorrow.
Coach will speak at some point tomorrow. 1:30-ish, something like that, probably.
It's typically how it's been, yeah.
Yeah, so that's the way it goes on that side of things. All right, on to the football of the matter. We have joint practices coming here on Wednesday. We have 2 preseason games left. We're more than halfway along the line in terms of training camp practices, but 2 big preseason games left. The joint practices, I think you could argue this is the most important week of training camp, will be the next week with the Vikings coming in here.
It is, and unfortunately you're not going to be quite at full strength. As we know, the Browns dealing with a number of injuries. You'd like to see that because this is the barometer. Like we need to be appreciably better than the Minnesota Vikings. Period.
It should
Full
be.
Stop.
Should be. They're
Our
building.
defense
We're
should
built.
dominate them.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Dominate.
Should not be able to block it. And we got the word earlier today that J.J. McCarthy, the rookie out of Michigan, will not be involved. He had having knee surgery, so it'll be Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins going for the Vikings this week in terms of the joint practices. So as we take a look at where we stand right now, the strongest position on offense on this roster is what, Dr. Z?
I think you could make the case that it is the quarterback room with our depth relative to the rest of the league, but I will go with I think the receiver room is the strongest room. Amari, Judy, Elijah, Tillman. I think that's the strongest room we've got on offense right now. Because at the offensive line as a whole,
that's it.
I can't do it right now.
No, you could if you could go interior offensive line, even with the loss of Whippler, you're still really good interior.
Nick Harris and Zinter and Javion Cohen and Michael Dunn are your backups. I mean,
with Bitonio and Teller and Posick, that's loaded. And Dewan's been great.
Just
Dewan left tackle. And I think that probably speaks to how scary it is right now on the left side of our offensive line, because everything else is as good as any group of talent in the league on the offensive line. But the fact that Jack and Jed have not been involved is glaring.
I mean, the fact that Jermaine Ifedi started getting first-team reps tells you that everybody is well aware of that there is a significant problem. You know, James Hudson played, I think, 8 snaps in the preseason opener, gave up a sack. It has been a problem in practice. It's been a problem, in fact, to run portions of practice with how much he has struggled, especially, and everybody struggles with Myles Garrett, but it's gotten to the point where it almost can be silly. Now, Jermaine Ifedi, 102 games, 83 starts in his career. He has not started a game since he started 7 for the Bears in the 2021 season.
Long time.
So he was not deemed good enough to be a starter in Atlanta in 22, did not play a game for the Buffalo Bills last year, although he was on the active roster all year. So, I mean, you're with him or you're with Hakeem Adeniji, who, is 43 games, 15 starts in his career, and he has not started since the 2022 season when he started for the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, he made 15 starts total in 3 seasons with the Bengals, so never even has really been a full-time starter. It's a problem right now, and it's a big problem, and it is disrupting the offense. When you look at Deshaun's bad plays, or ones that have been bad results, I'll say, because they weren't necessarily bad plays for him, but the ones that were bad results, I got to tell you, you can trace a lot of it to James Hudson and to pressure being the factor that broke the pipe. And we go back to last year, and Jed Wills was the problem. Jed Wills blows a block. Jack Conklin's out for the year week 1. Jed Wills blows a block week 2. It's a sack, strip, fumble, touchdown. We lose the game.
Yeah.
It's a problem. And you're counting on Jed Wills, I think, to be a savior, or Jack Conklin to help kind of guide you through there. Now, he did play left tackle at Michigan State, but this is not This is not great, brother. It is.
No.
It is not great, and it's becoming more of a problem than anybody obviously would like it to be.
It's the biggest concern of camp by a decent margin.
Yes.
Is that, despite all the other issues. Strongest position group on defense as we stand now. So, I mean, with guys out or health or whoever, the corners, I mean, no Newsome, but still the rest are still pretty damn good.
Corners are good. I would say right now the strongest position on the defense is defensive end.
Yeah, because you got Za'Darius back.
Za'Darius is
Oboe back.
Not really, but Oboe, yeah. Even with Za'Darius like on the side right now, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to participate in the joint practices, but he's going to be ready for the season. You got Miles, Za'Darius, Oboe, Alex Wright, Isaiah McGuire. Isaiah Thomas is your sixth. I mean, yeah, that room's loaded. Defensive tackle, you liked what was going on. Now that I think there are certainly questions about that room and what its composition will be.
Yeah, the injuries have just been, that's the thing. The defense has just been hit so hard with injuries, the depth of it and things off the field as well. So it's
wild.
It's been tough. One word to describe the Browns quarterback room so far this preseason, Dr. Z.
Deep.
Yeah.
Deep. I mean, Deshaun has looked good. Jameis has looked good. DTR has looked good. Huntley's looked good.
Yeah.
It's a very deep quarterback room. And I think around the league, I think if the Browns had their ideal outcome here, it would be, Deshaun is your starter, Jameis is your backup, and then DTR is here to be the backup of the future, and you're able to make some type of a move to bring in an asset to your organization.
Yep, that seems like the way that it would ought to go. Biggest concern on the defense, since we know the biggest concern on the offense at left tackle.
I mean, I really don't have a concern on the defense.
They weren't great in the preseason game. The depth of it, especially in the middle, wasn't great. I mean, Siaki Ika, we talked about that yesterday. That's not
These guys
great
aren't
for a
going to play.
third-round pick. Yeah.
I mean, no, that obviously is disappointing, but I don't have a concern with this defense. I would guess that, I want them to be going into the season. The biggest concern is how can the number one defense in the league have been 32nd in the red zone? So can we clean that up and force more threes than sevens? So that's probably the biggest concern is, how do we get better in that critical situation?
That's the job of Jim Schwartz to get him there. Who's impressed you the most through 3 weeks, player or coach?
Can I give a player and a coach?
Sure.
Thank you. Player has probably been, if I was saying, Miles just is on another level. Chief really has been on another level. So I'd say the person that's impressed me the most is and I love him, MJ Emerson. He just looks like a true, legit number one lockdown Pro Bowl, All-Pro cornerback.
He does. I haven't seen as much as you, but he's the one to me. Like just in the handful
Total
of practices I've been to, he just looks like that's it. He looks like like Rod Woodson back when he was with the Steelers. Like he's lengthy, good size, like he's physical. The way he moves, like all of it, to me, he looks like an all-pro corner.
Yep.
That's what he looks like.
Yep, which is a great thing. And then coach standpoint,
it's almost a cheat code to say like, because Denzel's always good, like Miles is always good, but it does feel like, to me, it feels like Emerson has taken even a bigger step.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like.
I would say not on like where we're thinking they're going to be a Pro Bowler, but Cedric Tillman's a much improved player as well. And then the player, those players, the coach. I love just being around Deuce Staley and just watching him operate. Vrabel would be the other one. Vrabel's been unbelievable, but I really like being around Deuce Staley and seeing the way he operates.
Yeah, both those guys have been fun. Good change of pace, and I think it speaks to how secure Kevin Stefanski is to bring in guys who are different from different places.
Yep.
That he wants new voices, that he's always learning, always adapting or dying. I think all of that makes sense.
Yep.
MVP of training camp so far, I am tasked with you only giving one. MVP of training camp.
Chief.
Yep.
Chief. Because he's been there. He's really of the mega stars. Now, Denzel's been there the whole time and has played very well, but I would say the Chief's just been consistently the most dominant guy out there. Miles, we didn't really see at the Greenbrier. We've only seen him since we've gotten back here, and he's known.
He's
Come on.
Miles, yeah. What is the one thing you want this team to show you over the next 2 days against the Vikings?
That there is no question in any observer's mind that we are significantly better than the Vikings, and we look like a playoff team.
Yeah, I want to see us dominate in the trenches.
Dominate.
Bully them.
Dominate.
Yeah, Philly did that to us a couple of years ago here.
And then when we went to Philly last year, I was like, oh, we can hang with this team. That's what we need. We need to do what Philly did to us 2 years ago, what Buffalo did to us, and even they were giving Gibby business in, what was that, 2015?
Yeah. Yeah, 15.
They were being so mean to Gibby.
Who was coming at you, Gibby?
Hey, Browns boy.
Yeah. It's a couple
You guys going to show up tomorrow?
some DBs.
I'm like,
it was some DBs.
I'm a radio guy.
Browns boy?
Browns
Browns
boy.
boy.
DBs for them. They were doing one-on-ones with our guys, and like we couldn't get off the line of scrimmage.
There
Well,
were 2
it was-
feet. We were
it was
up
unreal.
in Rochester.
Yeah, we were somewhere in New York. We'd arrived by train.
We are.
Yeah, we chartered an Amtrak. Simone.
Oh, for God's sakes. Chartered an Amtrak and stuck us with a bill at a now defunct steakhouse.
Yeah.
John Kelly better be careful.
Yeah, he better watch himself.
The introductory seafood tower is coming to you, big fella.
You're going to get the bill on that, pal. That's how that's going to go. Hey, I paid the debt, but you guys are going to pay. You guys pick up the tab.
You pick up the cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
Sweet.
Thank you so much.
It was
And then he was in here the next day, like begging us to give him a shout out. And I'm like, wait a second, I paid for my meal. Why am I giving anyone a
each
shout
paid
out?
2
I
bills.
paid for the meal.
And
What are you talking about?
an expensive meal.
Very.
it was not cheap.
No.
After there was more chilled seafood than anybody needed.
Than anyone could consume.
Yeah, no. Browns Bills joint practices, brutal. Got dominated on one field, and then like you would run underneath this little tunnel to the main field, and it wasn't any different on the other side. And I mean, it was day one. Get your what kicked in.
Yeah.
And it wasn't any better on day 2.
No, what was
That was 15.
certainly-
But
So
good
that
news,
was-
they drank all the alcohol in Rochester for that entire week.
Is
Not
that
the players.
That's Pettin
Yep.
in
Yeah.
15? Yeah. I want to say I was out here. It's funny, like you're going through like that receiver talent and all of that. The first year that I came out here for training camp was 16.
Okay.
And it was
Corey Coleman?
Kessler. No. It was
Baby
it was
carrots.
17. It was 17. Was the first time I was out here was 17. Yeah.
Special times.
Yeah. 16 was when prior you guys it was 16 when you guys did the joint practice down in Columbus, or was that 15?
We didn't do
That-
Or not the joint
It wasn't a
practice.
joint
We had
practice.
Orange and brown
Scrimmage or something down there?
down
Yeah.
in Columbus. Yeah.
The first time I was out here, it was when Osweiler.
Oh, yeah. That's 17.
Clipboard Jesus.
Yeah, they're like Osweiler's the starter, and you're going,
What?
holy smokes, what are we doing here?
Meanwhile, it was just another Monday.
Yeah, just a normal day. Yeah, it was poor Deshaun Kaiser, Kessler. Yeah, that situation. That's a tough spot. No wonder your receivers couldn't get off the line of scrimmage in 15. I just looked at it.
Yeah.
Good grief. Whew. Long ways from that, thank God. Z and Joe Hayden with Joel Bitonio coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Attention homeowners, you're looking for a stimulus package to upgrade your home's exterior. Look no further than Renew Home Exteriors. Whether you need new siding, roofing, or stonework, the team at Renew Home Exteriors is going to have you covered. And here's the best part. For the month of August, get 10% rebate on your project. Enjoy 0% interest for 5 years. Say goodbye to high interest payments when you choose Renew. And Renew's even going to let you see how your home will look with the upgrade with their 3D model rendering. You get to see it yourself before they install. Upgrade today, save big. Visit RenewEstimate.com to book a free estimate today. And now here is Z and Joe Hayden with Joel Bitonio.
Joel, great to be.
You're down.
Obviously, a veteran like yourself, probably training camp. You're like, let's go right ahead and get into the season. But what's this training camp been like for you so far?
Oh, it's been great. We've had a good ramp-up period. You know, we're starting to get pretty competitive with each other, but we got Minnesota coming into town, so a little bit of new blood to practice against. But it's good. Every time football season rolls around, you get that extra little, spirit in the sky, and the guys go a little bit harder. But it's been fun to start camp. I'm excited, like you said, to start playing some games. But we got a little bit of time left, few more weeks.
I'm just excited because you were one of the last Browns I got to play with that is
Teammates,
still here.
come on.
My good man teammate. So just through your career, man, being able to see you play, 6-time Pro Bowler, 5-time All-Pro, just coming into this year, just being a vet, what are you thinking about with training camp as far as, like, I know you want to get to the season, but leadership-wise, how do you look at it?
Yeah, it's personally, it's a fine line between like pushing my body because you get older, you played a long time. You want to be ready to play week one, but you also can't push yourself too much where you're broken down. Yeah. But leadership-wise, I want to try and we got a few young guards in there, a few young linemen. We lost Coach Callahan, we brought in Coach Andy. And so for me, it's really just trying to get the room where I want it to be. And we have some injuries right now. Guys are coming back. But we're talking up to young guys, kind of describing what our standard is of play and how we want to do it. And that's the main thing right now is just getting the group together. Like when we were in the Greenbrier, we had dinner, get the guys out and just, hey, this is our group. This is who we're going to have to try and be one of the best units in the league with. And that's kind of the goal of camp.
I love it.
You mentioned those young guards. Zach Zinter obviously drafted. Javion Cohen was not drafted, but obviously started at Alabama, all-SEC freshman team. He's got a little bit of a different pedigree than a lot of undrafted free agents out there. What's it been like with those two guys? And I know Zinter said he just wants to be a sponge at the Joel Bitonio learning tree.
No, great guys. Both of them are good guys. It's funny, JC, I was like, how'd you not get drafted, dude? Like, you have this resume and stuff. And he got into it. I won't get it on camera, but no, he's a talented player. Zach's a talented player. You saw in the flashes in the preseason game what they've done in camp and stuff. But to bring those guys in and just compete, and it always brings me a youthful energy when you get a young guy in that's ready to learn and wants to compete because you're like, I was like that too, And so you get that and you get a little push from them.
You're now the Hoffman Alex Mack.
Oh, I know.
You're the sage, wise old Pro Bowl veteran.
It's funny though, you don't feel like it when you are that. You know what I mean? You think about it, but you don't feel like it. You're just like, I'm one of the guys, And they're like, oh man, he's like, I DM'd you on Twitter one time when I was in high school, and I was like, oh man, I probably did not respond to you. I'm sorry, but it's one of those full circle moments.
Yeah. That's one of the best things, especially just being in the league for such a long time. It happens so fast that you just feel like, all right, no, I still feel like I'm a youth, but you have dudes coming in at 10 years in the league. Those dudes now, 21, he's 10 years old back in the day, and they're still, playing with you. So I know that's a great feeling, and I'm just so happy to see that how have you been dealing with it, bro?
I appreciate that, man. I know I looked up to Joe when he got in. He had just got paid, I think, his big contract
that's right.
when I got in the league. So I was like, oh, this is the man, and the way he competed was so cool. But, yeah, it goes so quick. Like, Joe was in year 8 when I got in the league, Joe Thomas. And I was like, oh, man, he's so old. He has kids and everything. And now I'm like year 11, and I'm like, he only played 11 years like Joe Thomas, So it truly is like it happens so quick. But that's why I try and enjoy every day and every win and every moment. And hopefully we can get a few more this year.
All right, this year, some wrinkles to the offense. That's kind of what we're calling it with Ken Dorsey coming in, Tommy Reese coming in, Deuce coming in, and certainly you can hear Deuce Staley all over the field throughout practice. But from your standpoint, probably some new run concepts out of the gun and, the RPO game. What does a lineman have to think about in that? Because we saw a touchdown come off the board for being too far down the field, but sometimes you think they've handed it off and you're run blocking. So is that a new thing that you've kind of had to work with, and what's that been like?
Yeah, it's big. And honestly, our O-line coaches come from, Philly, and Roy comes from Philly, and they did a whole bunch of RPOs. Yeah. So he has a lot of coaching points for us on that. But it really is, if the backers aren't coming downhill, you got to kind of ooze. You got to take your time off the ball. So there's really thought that goes into it, and then if you're the backside, you're the big guy, you're almost pass blocking sometimes, and then the ball gets handed off, and you're like, oh, I guess we're running the ball here. So there's a little bit of difference, but I think it does great things for us. It really spreads them out, and it confuses the D-line because they see one thing and they're reacting one way, and you can kind of make them do what you want, and then hopefully you have those big plays. You saw the touchdown, and those are little wrinkles that we're going to work out, and, I mean, they killed the double team. Like, honestly, like, it was an impressive double team block, and I wouldn't even blame it on Zach or whoever they called the penalty on.
Win those RPOs. Those are fun, too. But now we have some where half the line goes one way and the other half's going the other way for a throwback screen. That's something that's probably new for you in year number 11. What have those plays been like?
You know, it's been nice. You know, you get a little bit of wrinkles in the playbook where you're like, hey, it keeps you engaged instead of running the same thing for the fourth or fifth year. So you're still engaged.
Joel, you're like, okay,
right,
I got it.
You know, you're
Let's
engaged.
go.
You're learning new terminology. But it's been great because we can take the best things from Coach Dorsey, Roy, Andy, Kevin. Like, all these guys have these best plays that they run. We can put into one offense and kind of create the Cleveland Browns offense.
Absolutely.
That's good stuff. Especially now, we have great receivers. Hopefully Chubb comes back healthy. But with Deshaun Watson, too, being able to have him in the second year, having a complete offseason here, how do you think he's been doing so far?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, and he's comfortable in the gun, running the RPOs. Like, that's where he lived in college when he was in Houston. So I think having those type of plays for him is a huge thing. And you've seen there's teams in this league that have plays that are like RPOs named after Deshaun because he, you know, made those things so popular when he was in Houston. And so I think it's been awesome. You know, he wants to win as bad as anybody. And so to have him back there, have him healthy, have him coming out here and leading us is big for us.
Oh, perfect.
What are you looking forward to when the Vikings come? Because that's probably going to be the most significant work that you will get prior to September the 8th against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it's funny. I was checking out the coaching roster and the roster over there, and there's a lot of ex-Brown either players or coaches coming over here. So I was excited to see some guys first off, and then secondly, it's time to compete. You know, we're going against our defense. Like, they run the 4 down. I think Minnesota's more of a 3 down base, and they have Coach Flores over there who's going to give you some looks. So it's going to be great for us, and honestly, it's more controlled than an actual game.
Sure.
So you get the work in. A little bit less dangerous than when you go out there and play, and hopefully for us, it's a good 2 days of practice, and we compete, and guys want to get better.
Well, we're looking forward to it, Joel. Thanks for the time, getting ready for a big season, and man, can't wait to see you out there September the 8th.
Yeah, appreciate you guys having me.
All right, there you go. Bunch of luminaries right there. We'll do a little higher or lower, better or worse with NFL Triplet rankings. Where do our guys rank on the list? It is coming up next. Listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Be part of one of the most passionate fan bases in the NFL. Join Next Gen STM, presented by Ticketmaster. The official waitlist of your Cleveland Browns being a Next Gen STM. The best chance to become a season ticket member in future seasons. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/NextGenSTM to reserve your spots today. Time for a little higher, lower. And for that, we bring on, hello, Gibby.
Hello. We've been trying to knock this out for about a week.
Yeah.
Today we actually knock it out. It's the NFL triplets rankings from our good friends at CBS Sports.
All right. I have hastily put together my personal Mount Rushmore of triplets.
Okay.
All
so
time.
This would be QB, running back, and then wide receiver / tight end.
All right.
So you have
here are
to
my
include
three.
a running back,
All right,
quarterback.
this is all time.
Hold on.
This is all time. This is all time.
All right.
Hold on.
So this isn't this current NFL, but rather the all-time for me personally. Okay? So just my personal ones. All right, I got 4. Joe, Jerry, Roger.
So I had that too. But
49ers.
if you're using, so you're saying they had to actually play together?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I had. Look,
They have to play together. That's the first one I wrote down. The second one I wrote down, and I understand we've gone over his Hall of Fame status, was Aikman, Irv, Emmett. Was on my list. That Cowboys group. It's
pretty
for the
good.
Super Bowls. Mr. Segura. Hold on. My personal. You can do your own.
I'm gonna get. Well, I was gonna.
All right.
Segura,
Here is
so
my
anxious.
third.
Pick me.
Manning, Marv, Edge.
I had that second.
My last one in my personal Mount Rushmore, Mahomes, Kelsey, Hill.
I don't know if you can do that. 'Cause it's
Tight
gotta have
end
a
and
runner.
receiver.
It's
You
gotta
said
have
a
a
tight-
runner.
It has
No,
to
no,
be a
you said
receiver / tight end.
Oh, I thought you said tight end
Oh, no,
slash
you
runner.
need a running back.
You need a
no,
runner.
it has
Okay.
to be QB.
All right, so
running back.
So
then
it has
I
to be
would
like
go.
Pacheco.
Then I would go Warner, Falk, Holt.
Yeah.
Well, that's
If I have to have a runner, then I'll go that way.
you have to have a runner.
All right, so that's how I would do it. Those were the
Yeah.
Those were the ones I went with. What do you got?
Okay, Gold Star Kid. What do you want over there? Waving your hand. Pick me. Pick me.
Gold Star.
Go ahead.
Listen, Browns
Give him
boy.
a little.
Come
That's
on.
pretty good. I gotta say that's
I did get a lot of gold stars.
Gold Star.
I did get a lot of gold stars.
Hey, you also ate a lot of raw eggs.
That's pretty good.
Well, I wanted to.
Hard
I wanted to
boiled.
jump in
Hard
there
boiled.
with Peyton, Edge, and Marvin, which
Yep.
you got to third. I think that the gap between Peyton and Aikman is so immense.
Yeah.
That I think, and Edge was really.
I didn't rank
good.
them in order. I just went the 4.
Yeah.
I'm not saying necessarily. Those
Oh,
are just
gotcha.
the 4.
Those are
Yeah,
the
yeah,
ones
yeah.
that really jumped out.
That jumped
yeah.
out to me. Yeah. So I had so you had Niners, you have Edge, Manning, and Harrison.
Yeah,
So you need 2 more.
definitely Kurt Warner, Marshall, Falk, Torrey Holt. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a no-brainer.
Yep.
I mean, I get the Dallas one. I'm trying to think. There's got to be some that were like I don't even really care who the running back is. When you had, let's see, 2007 Patriots, when you had Moss and
That's the problem though. You don't have the running back. And you have to have the running back.
you don't. Let's see, 2007
Has to be a QB.
I mean, that's like
running back.
Is that like Kevin Falk? Like I don't even know who the back is.
Could you have a Corey? Could that have been a Corey Dillon hanging on at that point? There was one year where
Maybe
he was
on
pretty
fumes.
good.
I don't think so though. I think
All right,
that
so
was
they go
past him.
16-0. Their leading rusher was Larry Maroney.
Yeah. No, that ain't it. That ain't it.
I mean,
The
Brady.
difference between
Brady and Moss are pretty
Sure, but the difference
stout.
between Brady and Aikman is not as big as the difference between Emmett and Lawrence Maroney. Like
Phony Maroney.
That's a big drop.
I mean,
That's a big drop.
fair.
Is I was trying to think if there's anybody else from our youth that had the running back, receiver, quarterback.
Jeff George, Ironhead Hayward, Eric Metcalf. 1994 Falcons.
Young,
4,000.
Young, Rice,
Ricky Waters.
Ricky Waters.
Ah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That's a really good group. Yeah.
Record breaking.
I mean, the Steelers would have some good ones with Bradshaw, Harris.
Oh, Ben Roethlisberger,
Swan.
Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown.
For a short period. That's very similar to the young one, to the young Rice, Ricky Waters.
Yeah, short period. I think it's fine in this, right? It's just a 1 year.
Yeah.
What about like a Culpepper, Moss, Robert Smith?
Well, that would have probably been. You could have done that. I mean, you could have done Randall Cunningham that 1 year with Randa and Robert Smith when they went 15-1 and lost to the Dirty Birds. Chris Chandler and Jamal Anderson. Gary Anderson missing a kick.
It's outrageous. You think that? What year do you think that was?
98 is when it was.
That was his rookie
Randall,
season.
yeah, Randall, Randy, when they lost to the Falcons. Randall, Randy, and Robert Smith, and then Chris Carter was on that team. They went 15-1.
Robert Smith that year, 1187, 6 touchdowns, 5 yards a carry, added 291 and 2 touchdowns. So total 1,500 total yards, 8 total touchdowns. Moss was 13, 17, and 17. Randall.
Do Randy's yards per catch
that year?
Yeah.
9.5.
19.
20.
19. Yeah. But I want to know,
Randy.
when did Culpepper come in?
He's more like early 2000s. He played at UCF.
He was at UCF because I called his college games against Bowling Green.
Did you? Yeah.
Did.
Yeah.
All right, here you go. Culpepper. So you have Robert Smith go. This is a better one. You have Robert Smith goes for 15-21 on 5.2 yards a carry, 7 touchdowns, finishes the year with 1,900 scrimmage yards and 10 total touchdowns.
Pretty good.
Randa Moss that year, 77, 14, 37, and 15. Averaged 18.7 yards a catch. Chris Carter also had 12, 74, and 9. Culpepper, and again, this is 2000. This is the year 2000.
The year 2000 he did it.
Culpepper throws for 4,033 and runs for 507.
That was one of the first years that I played fantasy football,
and
he was unbelievable. He was a late-round pick. Buddy of mine went to UCF, so he drafted him.
That's a pretty good
he
one.
vaporized pretty quick.
There was, not to make light of it, but there was. We called
That's
his
a pretty
game.
good one.
We played them down in Central Florida, and then they came to BG my senior year, and he walked out on the field. I'm like, well, we don't have anybody that can stop him.
D-end.
Yeah. But there was a plane crash in a swamp. It was a value jet.
Value jet. Yep,
And we flew value jet because the team didn't have any room on their plane. And we're like, well, we need a discounted flight. Well, that's about as discounted as you can get.
Really?
Let's fly value jet.
Oh, my God.
And they just became air. I'm telling you what. That one,
I think that for when you do this, though, it has to be over a period. I think it's got to be 3 to 5 years or something like that. It can't
It's a
just
pretty
be
good 1 year.
It's a great one-off. All right. Go ahead, Gibby.
All right. Higher or lower? Number 1 on the list.
Higher or lower?
The Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes, Pacheco, Kelsey. Should they be lower or are they just right? The Ravens are number 2 with Lamar, Derek, and Mark Andrews. And the Eagles are 3rd with Hurts, Saquon, and A.J. Brown.
No, Kansas City's 1.
Zagura? Zagura has a beef. Your 49ers, by the way, are 4th. Brock Purdy, McCaffrey,
you can make
and
a case that they could be number 1.
Mahomes,
yes.
Full
I don't think
stop.
like the Ravens are number 2.
I don't either. But Mahomes, and then start after that.
Where are the Dolphins?
Dolphins would be Tua, Hill, and then the running back thing.
Stand by.
gets
The
low.
Hold on,
Bengals
the running
are
back thing-
5.
No, I know statistically it's going to be good, but like that's what's going to stop them. What? So who? You said 4 was the Niners.
Mostert had 1,000 yards, 18 touchdowns, and averaged 5 yards a carry last year.
Stand by.
1,000 yards over.
He
17
led the league in
games.
rushing touchdowns and total touchdowns.
We'll
I
get to
understand
them. The
statistically
Bengals are
he's-
number 5.
He
Burrow,
is nice.
Moss, Jamar Chase. I don't know.
Who was
Moss.
3?
By the way, I don't even think Zach Moss is going to start for them. I think Chase Brown's going to start.
Chase
for them.
Brown's going to be the guy down there, from what I hear.
Number 3 were the Eagles. Hurts, Barkley, Brown.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Hurts, I don't know. I'm curious on Hurts. I think this is a really big year for him because he kind of got sorted a little bit, and no Travis Kelce on the tush push stuff.
Assuming Aaron Rodgers
the
is
49ers
healthy,
should be higher than 4.
Those were
Rodgers, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson should be higher than 9.
Yes.
If Rodgers is Rodgers.
Yeah, and I don't know that Mixon's got anything left in the tank.
Me neither.
I love CJ and I love
So those 5
Nico.
teams I just mentioned were considered elite in this. So it was Jared Dubin who wrote it, but there were 12 writers that voted on it from CBS.
So Casey, Ball.
Seventh
Francisco.
was Goff, Gibbs, and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's a good one, although Gibbs is banged up already.
Yeah, so's Goff. No, not
Who's
Goff.
six?
Sorry,
Who's
that's
six?
Stafford.
Who did you say was 6?
6, I'm sorry, the Rams. Stafford, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua.
That's too high for the Rams.
I agree.
That's too high on that. Jets are too low.
Yeah.
Yes.
Texans are number 8 with CJ, Joe Mixon, and Nico. Intriguing, but I think they're properly.
The Falcons, I think, honestly, should be higher than. I mean, the Bills were. I know Josh Allen is great. James Cook was solid last year. Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, that ain't it.
Dalton Kincaid does not match up with.
I don't know what the love
rest of
affair
these
is with
people.
that guy in Buffalo.
So I was talking, doing a little Falcons. The one thing that we're talking about it this morning with somebody down there, the overwhelming feeling was, and this is my gift to you in the fantasy, is that Cousins loves Pitts.
Yeah,
And that he throws to him
Oh, what a
all
novel
the
concept.
time.
they should have been doing that
said-
from the second that they drafted him
of course,
4th
he's-
overall.
He's like, Pitts is dominant, and
Yeah.
Cousins throws to him all the time.
Pitts,
So
London,
Pitts
they've got
is
a good
finally
group.
going to
B.
what he was drafted to be. It sounds like he's finally going to be it down there. Finally going to throw him the ball.
So where would you slot the Dolphins at number 10? They're at number 10.
They've got to be
Tua,
ahead of that.
Mostert,
Tyreek Hill
Tyreek
is
Hill.
Tyreek Hill puts them to me in the top 5 alone. Mostert led the NFL in touchdowns
I'd have
last year,
him-
and Tua's great.
Yeah, I'd have him somewhere between
6 and
5 and
They're
7.
better
or
than
somewhere in there.
Baltimore.
They're definitely. Look, I don't know what it is. I think Lamar Jackson is the hardest player in the league to talk about because he's a 2-time MVP, 1-time unanimously. And so when you have those credentials, how can you not say greatness? And yet, to me, it feels like there is a concrete ceiling for what can happen in the postseason. And so, yes, he's sensational in a one-off have to prepare for, but in the postseason, it just hasn't happened.
The book
man.
is out.
I agree. So I think, don't you agree? I think Lamar Jackson's the toughest talk in the league. I think he's the hardest guy to have a conversation
Postseason,
about.
2-4, 57% completion, 6 touchdowns, 6 picks, and you could be like, well, that's not fair. You know, it was rookie year. His rookie year, he threw 2 touchdowns and 1 pick. So since his rookie year, including the 2 MVP seasons, it's 4 touchdowns, 5 picks, 6.8 yards per attempt, 220 yards passing per game, rating of 75.7.
And when you needed him to make a play last year against Kansas City,
Could not.
couldn't.
No,
Well, he can't throw
couldn't.
when
No.
you need,
He can't.
they know they
You're a
need to throw
great
it.
line. I've used it all the time. Can you throw when everybody knows you're throwing? No. Mahomes not only can throw when everybody knows he's throwing, he can throw down 7 in under 2 minutes. He'll go get you 6. He's 7 and 7.
In 30
7 out of
seconds.
7 in that.
Yeah.
The next best is Brady and Breeze. Breeze is 56%. Brady's 53. Mahomes is 7 out of 7 in those scenarios in his career. Down 7, under 2 minutes, ties it. 7 out of 7.
Yeah.
I like Andrews. Is Andrews a top 5 tight end?
He's coming off of an
Maybe,
injury,
but he's hurt
too.
all the
I mean,
time.
if
He's
they
hurt.
put Zay Flowers in there, it's
And even
more
Henry.
interesting. And Henry, yeah.
Henry's
I mean, the
30
Niners
years
need to
old.
be up there. Brock Purdy,
Niners should be 2.
Brock Purdy, 4,280 yards, 31 touchdowns, led the league in touchdown percentage, yards per attempts, rating, and QBR. McCaffrey is the best. And then you can pick Ayuk, who had 1,300 yards, Debo,
Yeah.
Kittle. I mean, you have a lot of options there.
Ayuk had 1,300 yards on the 30 most targets in the league.
Brandon Ayuk
He's a
last
stud.
year averaged 12.8 yards per target, which is the best I've ever seen for somebody who actually was like playing a season.
Let's just remember this. Derrick Henry is now 30 years old. He's carried the ball 1,500 times over the last 5 years and hit a career low of 4.2 yards per carry last season.
Tyreek Hill, who is a vertical bomb guy, has had 4 seasons in his career over 10 yards per target. His best ever was 2017 when he averaged 11.3. We're talking about Brandon Ayuk was at 12.8.
We were 22nd.
Yeah.
on
We're not
this
going to
list.
get – I don't expect this. I mean, Chubb's banged up. Amari doesn't get the respect that he deserves typically, and people are down on Deshaun. I mean,
The one quote on this is, Cooper is awesome, is what he says. So that's just it. So put it on a bulletin board, kids. that's the way that's going to go. So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.